All right. What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in for another episode of the Analog Hour. Today, wherever you're listening to this, I got a really cool guest. I was introduced to my guest a few weeks ago when she came here with Sam Ward, who is an amazing drummer. And I was introduced to his girlfriend, who is a multi-instrumentalist and a songwriter who's really talented. And I'm really lucky to have Nicole Alexandra over at the Analog Hour. How's it going, Nicole?
It's great. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for coming over.
Of course. It's nice to be here, to be back. Although
Yeah.
last time I was here with Sam, it's great. I love what you do. So
Cool.
yeah.
So Nicole is a multi-instrumentalist, like I said. So what is your favorite instrument, you would
It's
say?
a very good question. It's also a really tough question. It's almost like a metaphor for me of choosing your favorite child. It's like just hard to do.
So-
I don't have children, but it would
Enumerate
be
all,
weird.
all the instruments you currently play in your music.
So it's not too many, but I started with the piano when I was 6, and then I began the violin when I was 10. So those were my two main instruments forever, and they still are my favorites. But then singing became a big part of my life, and songwriting, and then it just was like all of them became my favorite, just kind of put in one. And it was tough for a while to actually really choose what I wanted to do. I applied to like Juilliard and
Yeah, get it right on there.
oh yeah, of course. So I was applying to so many different colleges like Juilliard and just any place that did classical music for violin. So violin was what I had chosen for a while, but then I fell in love with songwriting so much. I decided Berkeley was the place for me, and it was great that they combine everything.
So
and
you're from Boston, too, right?
Originally, yep, born in Boston.
Cool.
I
And then
moved
you
all
went-
over the place.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, so after that, I moved when I was 8 to Virginia. I was in Charlottesville for 10 years. I would always go back to Boston and visit my like grandparents that are there. And it was like always nice going back. Like Boston always felt home.
Yeah,
But yeah, so
right on. And then, so Berkeley's in Boston, right?
yes. Yeah, so that was another reason I thought, oh, well, I was born there, my family's here, and this school that does, jazz more so instead of classical. Berklee College of Music was the place for me. So once I decided to just try out some of their courses, I did their 5-week program, and I fell in love with it. I was like, the teachers are great. They're so open-minded. They'll allow me to do, multiple things. Before, I was really kind of forced to pick one thing. Like, is it piano? Is it violin?
Okay.
And, I was putting countless hours every single day into playing, and now I love to do it all. And not just do classical music. Now I do a bunch of things.
So Berkeley didn't have much of a classical program.
Not that much. So they originally are a jazz school, and they've morphed into just contemporary music, and they can teach classical, but that's not their specialty or their main focus.
So did you start playing? What kind of music did you start playing once you got in there?
I just continued with writing my own stuff. So I took a lot of songwriting classes, and I would just write on my piano. I'd start out with getting the chords, thinking of melodies, and it's a mix of R&B, soul, pop, all of that.
Oh, cool. So when did you start writing songs?
When I was 14. Actually,
cool.
I did some poetry when I was 12. That was a school project, and they just wanted us to write a few poems. They gave us like a haiku that we had to do, and many different assignments. And I thought, oh, this is cool. And then now I can add music to it, so it just continued from there. And I just love to be able to, like release all these thoughts in my head. Sorry?
Do you still play that song?
Oh, the first things that I wrote? Wow, I remember like a song that I wrote when I was in high school called "If Only," that not too many. I mean, people know it, like people, my friends and stuff like that. And I have a recording of it. But I remember those like really early tunes that I wrote that I still have played with different musicians and just done a total reharm on it and just changed it up. So that's been fun too.
Oh, sweet.
But I'm trying to think of the actual like first song I wrote. I don't know if I can recall that very first one.
So you've
but
been writing a lot then.
Yeah, lots of writing. That's my main thing. I love it.
Sweet. And would you write for other artists too?
Yes, definitely. I already do that to a certain degree with other fellow songwriters that I knew from school or from just being in LA, and I've done some co-writing as well as just writing for them, and it's always really fun. It's great. I'd love to do it more. Cool. It's a different experience than just writing for yourself, so it's great. It's something I can learn from as well. Yeah, thinking of it in their perspective, it's cool.
Have you written for male artists?
I have, yes, for someone that was a student that was taking voice as well as songwriting, and he lives in Boston. He's an R&B artist, and it was great. Yeah, he came in and I just talked with him. What are you feeling? I want to go over those things first and really delve into the mindset of.
And then you wrote something.
And then I helped, and he did some of the lyric work, but just a couple like key words, and then I would kind of piece it together like a puzzle and add the music as far as the chords and thinking of a melody, and then I knew his range, so I worked within that.
Wow. That's super cool that you can just do that.
Yeah, you just modulate it to a key that feels right for like a man to sing or really anyone, just depending on your age and your. But I've also been teaching voice for 12 years now, so I definitely know what are like comfortable places to sing for different people. So.
Did you major in voice also? Or?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And do you also sing for other bands, right?
Yeah, I do. Well, right now, mainly as far as singing or just playing in bands?
Well, playing and singing, I guess.
Yeah, because I do so many different things. Mainly, I'm doing a lot of violin with other people. So I've been, like the Sidemen, for instance, I play violin on certain tunes.
You play with Sam.
Yeah, exactly. I play with Sam and Brian McShay, and it's great. And I'll play keys, sing background vocals, and then do some violin depending on the tune. So that's
cool.
really fun.
You're like
too.
The multi-instrumentalist singer.
I'm all over the place. Yeah.
Sweet.
And I love to dance. So there's that too.
Yeah. I've been seeing your videos dancing.
Oh, thank you. Awesome.
And so who's your main influence as far as songwriting?
Very good question. It always changes as far as, there's so many amazing writers that for me to, like whoever I say right now, there's still more artists that I can't even begin to think of because there's just so much talent. But I've always really connected with Sia's writing because of its simplicity. But at the same time, it is complex with how she delivers the vocals, how she explains what the topic is, even though.
She writes her own songs?
Yes, yep. She writes everything, and she is a great example of someone that I kind of look up to as far as writing for other artists. So she writes for Rihanna and Beyonce, and
so she started out as a writer.
She started actually as an original artist, and then she started writing and getting like the big bucks. And I've watched all her interviews. She's great, really down to earth, and she explained that it's wonderful going on tour, but there's also the need, you got to pay your bills. So she began to write, and who knows how it went from writing for the artist she did to Beyonce, but she now does that as well as writes for herself and is like a huge pop artist. Like she's doing great. So I just really like her topic. She's very honest.
Yeah, so she's a real musician.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
She really talks about things that feel real.
artists don't write their songs, right?
Right, exactly. No, she writes it all, and definitely those lyrics, they come from her personal life, and that's just like me. I write about my life, or things that I see in the world, or I just try to make it personal, not just to write the song, just to write it and have a catchy
So
hook.
how what does inspire you to start writing for yourself, for your solo music?
What inspires me the most is just when I'm really present in the moment, I guess, and I take in and absorb everything that's currently happening. And when I have those moments, which I try to have more and more, and through like meditation and yoga and things that I do that help me get there, it definitely gets me in a certain zone. But I guess the most inspiring thing is just being in the moment, taking it all in, and then really getting in touch with what I'm feeling, and then writing that down. So I don't know if that makes sense, but really getting in tune with what I'm feeling instead of just getting like brainy and trying to write to just write, more like feeling, and just whether it be just singing something and recording it and having it be any words that I just feel, and then I take it and then like map it out.
Do you constantly hear music in your head?
Almost, yeah, to be honest. Either it's one of my songs or it's like a song that I heard recently that I really love. Even right now, like I'm hearing some music in my head.
Really?
Yeah, just
is it, like new stuff that
just a couple different chord progressions that I played. One is actually like a sidemen tune. One is something that I just heard on the radio. I think it's like a Rihanna tune, and then one is what I'm going to be playing today. I just hear like different things at times. It's funny. I do hear music.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool/crazy.
Well, it's just the musical brain, I guess.
Right.
You gotta get the inspiration somewhere, right? You gotta get these notes somewhere.
Right.
And yeah, I hear music in my head too. So,
right. So you get it. Yeah. I'm not the only one.
But although playing in bands, I hear a lot of high pitched noise just stuck in my ear because I'm half deaf.
Right. Oh, okay. I feel you on that. Yeah. Do you have earplugs you're always bringing?
Yeah. You got it.
You have to. You got to protect your ears.
Yeah.
It's important.
So let's talk about violin. Are you influenced by classical music in the violin?
Definitely, yeah. So when I started at 10, I had already had a couple years of piano playing experience with teachers, and I was able to apply what I had already learned on the piano just on the violin, and it made it easier. But I was doing classical music, and most teachers in general with violin do classical music. So after many years of that, then I started to morph into doing more just original, just improvising and taking a certain riff and just going with it and maybe writing a little tune. But there definitely is a lot of classical influence in my playing with violin. I think to play the violin, well, I don't know, I guess I was going to say don't quote me on this, but I am saying it. But it's just, to play the violin, having classical training definitely makes it just so much easier, I would say.
Yeah.
When you then want to do your own thing, because you have the technique.
Right. But since Berkeley is a jazz school, did you do jazz with the violin?
So I did a bit of it, not too much at Berkeley, like within the classes, but I would do it with people I would meet with after. I would jam with people and just bring my violin and do any style. Violin. So it could be jazz, it could be funk, like rock. I mean, and also hip hop. What am I saying? Tons of hip hop violin stuff that I love to do. So,
right on.
Yeah.
Cool. You were in hip hop bands and stuff.
Right. Yes, I was in a hip hop band for a good amount of, or not too long, but like 2 years.
Oh, really?
Called Holy Moly. The band unfortunately no longer is.
Holy moly.
It's I know. Holy moly.
It was Boston.
Yeah, in Boston. It was a great band. It was a great group. Female rapper. I mean, everything was good about it. It's just, people go their separate ways, people move, it's tough when that happens, but it was really fun when it lasted, and I know that everyone's doing their own music separately, and it's good to know they're doing well.
And what recordings have you made so far? with yourself and other musicians?
So my latest EP is called Dark Moon, and I'm definitely excited about that, but that was recorded a few years ago. So now I'm really excited about the new music that I will be putting out, but it's all in the process of being just finalized with what I want to do with the arrangement, where I want to record everything, and things like that. But the last album or EP, it's a 3-song EP called Dark Moon.
So you got plans to record new stuff?
Yes. I'm really excited.
So I bet you got a bunch of songs.
I got a lot. Yes, exactly. Just sitting there, like, waiting to be recorded. Exactly. It's just...
Right on.
It's time.
Yeah, definitely. Go for it.
Yeah.
And have you recorded with other bands as well?
I have. So many that I'm, like, forgetting right now. I've done so many things with Sam lately. It's like I'm trying to think.
Like a thing together, right?
Right. Yeah. So we have a project that we do together, and then we also have other gigs that we take, like weddings and etc. And then I have my own solo thing. So it's like definitely lots of different projects, but it's hard to think of every band. I'll just name a few. There's a band I really love to play with in Boston called Kong. They did funk music, so I used to sing with them all the time and record a bit with them. Also, the Indo Box in Boston, I recorded some videos with them. But there's just so many that I can't even think. Being someone that went to Berklee College of Music, it's like you meet so many people. It's like just yesterday. Exactly. So, but I don't record as often for my own stuff. I normally have a bit of a slower process and really take my time, make sure it's exactly what I want. But now I know it's time, it's ready. So
yeah. So have you figured out all that stuff when you're gonna do it?
Not the exact dates, but I have like an idea, like next couple months type thing.
Right on.
Yeah.
And you got a producer you're gonna make it? Or?
That is what that I have not decided yet. I have producers that I have in mind, but not one yet that I've chosen.
Right on.
Yeah.
Definitely interesting. Interested to hear an album from you.
Yeah.
Because your music's like really diverse. It's not can't pin it down to any genre because it's like you're drawn from like. You got hip hop, you got R&B, you got pop, and you got classical,
right?
All this stuff. So it's definitely gonna be your own sound.
That's what I always hope for. That's what I want above anything else. Is if I can just, that plus also just making a difference. Like singing things that are really like making people feel.
Oh yeah.
Something positive, like making some type of change. So that and being authentic and not changing because someone tells me to change or you have to sing this or you have to do that. I want it to just always remain true to why I fell in love with music, which was I just love music. Yeah.
So what kind of artists or what in an artist makes you a fan of theirs and makes their music inspiring?
Honesty. Yeah, honesty is one. So, for instance, it's very diverse. You got, like, one of my favorite artists is Eminem. Definitely a favorite. Like, will always be a favorite. And although I don't sound anything like him and I'm not a rapper, I do like to rap on the side for fun. But it's just he's so open and honest and just saying it how it is and how he feels it. And if it's offensive, then so what? He's being true to himself. So he's one example. I mentioned Sia already. She, again, she like has opened up about her just trauma in her life and saying it in a really open way. And then let me think of.
So you can hear it in the songs.
Yes, she goes into detail about it. So both of them really talk about like exactly what happened, and even if it's ugly or it doesn't sound like right to say, they just go ahead and say it anyways. So I definitely have a lot of respect for that, and I love their music. Another person that I just loved her voice. Christina Aguilera is just a powerhouse vocalist.
Definitely.
But yeah, the honesty thing. It's like when people can just be like really just raw and just say it, even if it hurts or it annoys someone, they just go, it's who I am.
And I think also you can hear it in the vocal quality. And
yes. Yeah. Oh, Jessie J is another example of someone that really sings what she writes it, she means it, and then she executes it just so beautifully. But
so she writes her own stuff too.
Yeah. Now, I don't know, of course, there are co-writers on everything, but I know she writes her stuff, and it's just great with songs that she has, like Who You Are, and just saying, just be true to who you are. It's just so simple, but it's a message that we should be reminded of more and more and more, especially as the years go on and we have more social media and ways to compare ourselves and this fantasy world that we think exists. It's nice to hear some real shit.
Yeah. So you're looking for an emotional connection.
Exactly.
In the music.
Yes. That's it.
Cool. Yeah. Well, because women are very emotional.
Yeah, I am emotional. That is true.
I usually have guys on the show and they're like,
I want a sick beat. No.
I want some emotional connection.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then at the same time, if they can put out like a club banger and I can dance to it as well, it's like that's great too. So if it can be emotional and have a great melody and have some strings, hopefully violin, even though I love viola and cello, it could be anything. All of those things are what I, love in music. But then again, I'll like any style. It could be something totally not even in that realm, and I'll just find the beauty in it because if it's a good song, it's a good song.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Any plans of like putting a full band together to play your music?
Yeah, definitely. It's been a plan / what I had done already in Boston for many years, and I want to continue it here.
All right.
And as far as permanent members versus just having people play certain shows, I don't know who's going to do what yet, but I definitely want a band, and I will be doing more shows with a full band. Normally I have like one horn player, and then I switch between violin and piano, and then bass, drums, guitar. So that's normally the lineup.
Cool. Definitely looking forward to having having a full band.
That would be fun. Yeah.
Cool to see you guys. So have you played your solo stuff? I know you have a show coming up.
Right. Yeah.
Have you played your solo music?
One time I did. Viva Hollywood. I played there a few months back and just did solo piano and vocals, all originals, and that was really fun. It was actually for a why am I blanking out? It was a certain special event that they had there that they asked me to do. So it was a great time. Yeah.
You got a show coming up?
Yes.
Where at?
April 3rd at Bar Lubiche in, it's really close here. It's called Berkeley Night, and they have it once a month with 5 songwriters.
Unfortunately, this podcast
I
won't
know,
be coming
right?
out
This one will not. Well, that's okay. But every month they have it, and it's amazing. All the singers that they get every single month.
It's every month.
Every month, the first Tuesday of the month.
First Tuesday.
And I love it. Yeah.
You're usually gonna be there.
Yep, I'm always there.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So they can catch you jamming out there.
Oh yeah, I'm always there supporting the other singers, performers, and the next one I'll be doing, but I'll probably play another one in the future as well. But yeah, every single first Tuesday.
Cool. And other than the record, the band, what's other plans for the future?
The plans just to continue with as far as like my performing or just anything.
Your musical
just
journey.
My musical journey. It's a tough question as I I try to live every day not planning too much, like planning ahead for what I need to do, but not planning in a way where I have an expectation, because I do think that if you have too much of an expectation, it can actually kill your love for it or your desire for it, because you're hoping so much that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't happen exactly that way, it can just tear everything down. So instead of really thinking, oh, I'm going to be at the Grammys in 2020, which I said it, maybe it'll happen. But instead of that, I just think every day I want to continue growing, not only musically, but as a person. Because if I'm not growing as a person, then there's no way I can grow as an artist. It's pointless.
Right.
You know, and I do see, or not see specifically, but I know of artists that you get really big, but then you got to figure out who you are. So I want to just like continue working on myself and on my writing, and then every day just adding that up. And then the big picture would be to have my music, you know, be on every radio station and everyone hears it. But that's not my main goal. It's just to continue doing it and make someone smile when they hear what I put out or see a dance video or anything like that.
Cool. And what keeps you motivated in music?
There are a couple things. My students definitely also keep me motivated. When I teach lessons, it's
So you teach vocal?
yeah.
classes?
So I teach voice, piano, violin, viola, songwriting, and I hear them, you know, come to me with their you know, various issues or questions, and it reminds me that we're always all students. We're always constantly learning. Like, I'm still a student. I'm going to be a student in 10 years, and I like to kind of think of myself like that. So that kind of motivates me, is to not feel like, oh, I made it, like I'm good enough, I don't need to practice. I graduated from Berkeley, and it's like, no, that's nothing. It's remembering that I'm still like a child at heart, and I am developing and finding my sound, and then deciding I want to do something different. And so my students would be one thing that motivates me. Yeah, they're great. I love teaching.
Right on. Cool. Did you always knew you were going to come out here to LA to be a musician?
It was always a dream. Yeah. And I don't know, I guess the word dream, it's like, I thought it was always going to happen. It was a plan.
Yeah.
It was a plan. Yeah, definitely.
Ever since you were a kid and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, maybe not like really young.
Yeah.
I more so wanted to be Vladimir Horowitz, if you know who that classical pianist is. He was wonderful. Unfortunately, no longer with us, but when I was younger, I used to just watch a bunch of videos of him, and all my teachers would show me his stuff. I mean, he's one of just the best technically / musically classical pianists like ever. And yeah, I guess him and Itzhak Perlman is a violin.
That is.
You do? Okay. Yeah. And then Yo-Yo Ma for cello, he's amazing. But
you play cello as well?
I don't play cello. I just love his playing is gorgeous. Yeah.
Cool. Well, how do you like being in LA and doing it so
I
far?
love it. Yeah, so even though I didn't necessarily think when I was like 5, okay, I'm definitely going to be in LA, I knew like music was what I was going to do, just for the fact that I loved it. And so far being here, it's great. The weather is great, and the people and the community of just have also graduated from Berkeley. It's just nice to have that community here of so many other
people
alumni
from out there that come out here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot, and I just have really dug it. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Me too, definitely.
It's really good. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming over.
Oh yeah,
really
of course.
Appreciate your time and talking with me.
It was great.
Do you have any last message for the people out there listening?
Well, you can find my music on everywhere online, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music. The album, again, is called Dark Moon. And my Instagram is my name, Nicole Alexandra Official. And if you check that out, it's got just, I try to put out a video a day.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely follow her on Instagram. She's super awesome on Instagram.
Thank you.
Nicole, appreciate it again.
Of
Thanks.
course. Thank you.